Yo,
Hey man, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, bro?
Good to see you again.
You too, man. What's going on?
Just a rainy day in Brisbane. Where are you at today?
I That's a good question, man. I don't even know, bro. I think I'm in Utah.
'Cause you're back out, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm in the States with Alicecooper now,
Yeah,
and we have a travel day off, so I think it's Utah. That's sad that I don't know, bro. We switched this around. Sorry.
that's all right.
There we go.
No,
That's much better.
it's
Cool.
not sad. It's not sad. It's life.
Yeah, man, it's so busy. It's been epically radical busy. I'm so stoked. There's just been such great response to the record, and we just did a short tour, European tour, and the response was stellar. The band was on fire. So I'm happy, man. I got no complaints, bro. No complaints.
So yeah, well, congrats on Kinetica, dude. Like it's a real different sound for Beasto. There's some really cool elements, and
Yeah,
it goes from pop to kind of zombie kind of songs and everything in between. And
sure.
you got to be super proud of it.
Yeah, I am. I think that's just who we are, we are that type of band. We're not just Beasto Blanco is just is a band that encompasses so many different sounds and looks and textures. I mean, just the dynamic between Calico and I, voice, and what we really wanted to do is explore our, influences on this record. And we have three records full of like real aggressive hardcore rock and roll, and this one we wanted to really just collaborate with another producer, and we found Chris Harms, who's just such an incredible songwriter, and he pushed us into other directions, but still it's Beasto. It's still so Beasto, but at the same time it's us going through a change, and not only just kind of seeing a little bit what the change is like. We just were open to all change. Like,
Yeah.
if we're going to change a little bit, let's go for the whole thing. So yeah,
Well, it's true. Like you've got like say "Kill Us Off with a Smile," which is
yeah,
like I won't call it a ballad, but it's what a ballad should sound like if it was getting released now. And then you've got "Slide," which to me sounds like someone went, "Oh, let's go Brutal Planet meets Rob Zombie."
yeah.
You know,
Slide
it's
was like, first of all, "Kill Us All with a Smile" to me originally was written, and I was going to sing it. And when I heard it, I went, "This is a Calico song. This is what we need. We need that vocal from her. We need that clean." I think the lyrics um, will pop more with her. It'll come from a different place. And so we had to redo the whole song and change the key for her vocal, and she crushed it. And it has turned out to be one of those songs where it's so different but so needed on this record, because this record is telling such a story from the heart, and it was so important that those type of lyrics came from Calico, sort of this powerful woman figure, rock and roll, hardcore machine girl, all of a sudden being sensitive and just sort of laying it on the line truthfully. And it's turned out to be one of my favorite songs for sure. Slide was one of those songs we wrote, was the last song we had written and tracked. And I had come up with the lyrics pretty quickly and just sort of left them, kind of forgot about them. And then it was like, hey, what are we doing about this song? Chris Harms had it titled something else. I think he had it titled Insecurity or something like that.
right.
And I don't know why he titled it that. It was so weird. And I said, "I don't know what song you're talking about." And then he started playing it. And I go, "Oh, you mean Slide?" And he goes, "What do you mean Slide?" And I go, "Let me track the vocals." So then, because he hadn't heard my take on my melody and my lyrics yet. So it was really cool when we started going at it. He was like, "Oh, this song is epic." So it's turned out to be one of our favorite tracks as well, man.
It's the first new album in 5 years. So what's the oldest song that's on the album?
They're all pretty new. I would probably say Nobody Move was a song I had written during the pandemic in 2020. So that one and Fight was probably some of the older ones.
Okay.
And Nobody Move originally was great. When I recorded that one, when I wrote it, I wrote everything. All the parts on it when I submitted it to the band were all tracked on bass guitar. There wasn't a single guitar on any of it. I just got distorted bass tones and had a lot of fun with it.
Channeled Lemmy.
Yeah. Yeah, or Royal Blood or something, you know?
Yeah. So like you write for everyone, like you've done work for Coop, you know, you work outside of the Coop band a lot.
Yeah.
You've got Beasto. Was there any of these songs that you were looking to submit to him and then you gave it a different twist?
Not at all. This was 100% a Beasto Blanco record. I think what had happened is when Coop was listening to the record or the songs that I had demoed up for our record, he was going, "Hey man, I really like the direction you guys are going. You should write like that for Alice. Let's write like that for Alice." So he loved the direction we were going, which to me solidified our decision with moving forward with Chris Harms.
Okay, cool. Now, Calico being in the band, that surname of hers is a blessing and a curse. You know, it comes with a bit of baggage, unfortunately. But I think this album will teach people what she's like as an artist. But she also did a video for every single track on the record.
That's right. Yeah.
What's the plan for those? Are they going to be like stagger one a month or something like that?
Well, you know, we just released Diamond in the Dirt.
Yep.
Which has been received so well. It gained so much traction right out of the gate. That song is doing very, very well for us. Yeah, so we'll have another tune called On Real where Chris Harms has guest appeared on it as a sort of a duet with Calico, if you will. That'll be our next release right before the Lord of the Lost tour coming up in September in the United States. And then throughout the year, and into next year, we're just going to keep releasing little bits here and there. And basically what we've done is we tied them all together. And we got close to about an hour's worth of a story, if you will.
Yep.
So we've recorded a lot of B-roll and a lot of storylines and stuff just outside of the music thing to tell the Kinetica story.
Cool. Now, Kinetica is movement, it's flow. Which way do you think the band went movement wise in this record? Because it's kind of very forward, but it's a bit sideways too.
Hey man, it's all forward direction. It's movement. And as long as it's movement, I'm okay with it. And that was the idea behind the name. It was this kinetic energy, this force behind it, which was we had come up with this idea that we were going to work with Chris Harms, which then just that idea, that energy alone sparked his mind and sparked his songs and then mine. And then everything just started popping before we knew it. There was this force moving towards Beasto Blanco of songs and sounds and lyrics and ideas. And everybody was super excited. And we were getting outside songwriters throwing lyrics at us and other songs. And it just created this wonderful sensation of creativity. So for me, it was movement in a forward direction, in a direction of a new direction is where the energy put us.
Yep. Now, bringing these newer songs to the stage, there's a lot more layers to them than, as you said, the past sort of Beasto albums. Are you going to need any sort of supplemental musicians on stage to flesh out some of the parts?
We've been experimenting with a lot, and I think the one thing is that it's still a rock and roll band. So if you strip away some of those elements, we just did an acoustic set in Cologne, Germany, where it was just everything was stripped away. It was just us and acoustic guitars, and the songs they did on their own. So live, we do the same thing. We're stripped it all down. We're a live rock and roll band, and we will use some elements of maybe a keyboard thing or something like that for intros. but for the most part, it's rock and roll, and it comes across really well live. Just gives us a reason to turn up our guitars.
Perfect. Now, you guys sort of have to weave in and out of the Coop band schedule. So what sort of game plan have you got for dates?
Yeah, so right now we're on tour with Alice, and we take a break in the US on September 19th. I fly directly to Cleveland, Ohio. I meet up with the Beasto Blanco camp there, and we hit the United States with Lord of the Lost from September 20th to September 28th. We finish in San Francisco, California. We go from Cleveland. We do a solo show in Moline, Illinois, Minnesota, Denver, Phoenix, Los Angeles, San Francisco. Then I take off the next day, fly back to Europe with Alicecooper for October. And then at the end of October, we have a couple-day break, and then we take off and we go on the road with the Dead Daisies and Mike Tramp, and we do a 17-day run throughout Europe with the Dead Daisies and Beasto Blanco, and possibly some other stuff in the near future after November. We're just going to get as much of it in as we possibly can.
Awesome, man. So has there been any nibbles from Australia to bring the band?
There's been a lot of nibbles, actually, and we're really excited for all of you guys coming forward and doing these interviews, and it's starting to bring some attention. Promoters are starting to get the buzz. There's some other guys involved, so we're hoping next year at some point that we can get there and hit Australia. I think we would do very, very well there.
Yeah, I think what we should do is just really drive you to the point of exhaustion and make you do three gigs in a day. ESP,
Right.
Beasto, Alice. You just don't rest. Let's don't
do
rest.
it, man. Hey, man, no rest for the wicked, bro. I'm in.
Exactly. Now, I've got to talk about yourself and Cali. Like, while you were both adults, you've kind of grown up on the road together as friends and family. And it proves really well in the interplay between you two on this album. Not that there wasn't on the other albums, but it's very, very evident how much there is a interplay with you on the album. What's the one thing that you think people wouldn't realize about Cali? Like something, a
Man,
quirk of hers.
She has no fear. At least she doesn't show it. The one thing I love and I admire about Calico is she will, especially in the studio or on stage, if the producer says, "Hey, I got this idea, I want you to sing this," and she'll listen to his idea, and then she'll say, "Okay, let's give it a go," and she'll go in there and she will attack it. She won't be intimidated. She will go after it 100%, and all of a sudden you see the whole energy shift where like everybody becomes excited about it. Her fact of being a fearless individual, and also the word no is just not in her vocabulary when it comes to being artsy and artistic and doing what people think is going to be the best, because she does have full trust. Chris Harms was very moved by Calico when he would ask her, "Hey, can you go in and sing this part? Is this in your vocal range?" And she goes, "Yeah, let's give it a go." And would you be open to this lyric change? Yes, absolutely. Are you cool with this melody? Yes, let's do it. And that way the energy just keeps moving forward. You're not stopped because somebody's digging their feet in the sand.
Very cool. And the thing is that she's not only a singer, she's a dancer, she's a director. Like, she's a quintuple threat, probably, the things we don't know about. I just realized you're actually going to have to play 4 gigs in a night because we need Goonsquad as well.
Yeah, there you go. I love it. The thing with Calico Cooper, man, is I got one word for her to describe her. She's a force.
Yeah.
She is art in living form. Her performance live is on another level. I don't know who I would actually compare it to. It's so incredibly entertaining. She has gotten her vocals, her live vocal sound has gotten so much more polished. She's more polished as an entertainer. She's just an absolute force to be reckoned with on stage and in the studio.
What about for yourself? What was the biggest thing that you learned about yourself in the making of this album that you may not have realized?
Yeah, man, that I am capable of so many things if I can get out of my own head. Once I let myself go, I realize all of the things that are just a possibility for me. So I've really focused on this last run on my vocals, on my memorizing the lyrics, and really becoming a much better guitar player, and trusting myself, saying to myself that my enthusiasm, my desire is enough. If that makes any sense, it's enough to have the passion to call it successful. I want to be better every time I perform. And even though we just did a bunch of shows, I think, oh, I can polish this. I can do this a little bit better. I'm never going to settle. I realize that now that Beasto's gotten so busy and people are coming from all over the world. We just did Vach in Germany, and there were people that had traveled from Finland. There were people that traveled, from Switzerland. There were people that traveled from the UK to come see us just for that particular day. And I realized that they're traveling a great distance, and it's my duty to give them the best show I possibly can that day. But also my message to most artists and to people is, hey man, those voices in your head, if they're not positive, don't pay attention to them.
Perfect. Now, you've worked with some pretty amazing producers over the years. Like the biggest one comes to mind is Ezrin. So what's the things that you take out of when you work with those people that you then transfer to yourself into Beasto?
Well, what we just talked about really is just their ability to make a decision and stick with it. They don't waver. I notice like a guy like Bob Ezrin or a guy like Chris Harms never wavers on their process, and they will keep working until they get it the way they want it to be. And they will, as long as they got artists in there that are willing to work, and hey, I want you to sing this melody or play this guitar part. And if you're not getting it right away, there's no frustration. It's like, hey, we're going to do this till we get it right. And then you get that encouragement. But what I admire about guys like that is just their ability to be so sure of themselves and their decision.
Awesome. Now back to the album. What is the one song on this album that you if you haven't already played it live, you can't wait to play live?
Haven't played it live yet, and I'm really looking forward to Diamond in the Dirt. I think it's just got the perfect lyric. I think it's going to be a real good crowd pleaser, man. And you know what, bro? We're all diamonds in the dirt. We all need a little polishing. We all need a little, love. We're all worth something. We're valuable. I think it's going to speak to the crowd, and I love the music behind it, man. It's going to be fun to play as well.
That's awesome, man. We're going to leave it at that for today. We're going to get you on the road in a bus and to the next place. It's great to catch up with you again. It was good to see you earlier in the year, and those Goon Squad shows were ridiculous.
We'll see you soon, man. Thanks for everything, and keep spreading the word about Beasto Blanco, man. You can hear everything about us, the new release Kinetica on Spotify. And man, I appreciate you, bro. Let's get us to Australia next year.
Let's do it, man. I'll see you soon.
See you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jack.